Good morning everyone. Myself, Mr. Sankur Naresh, Assistant Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering. Today I would like to discuss about one of the important topic in our fifth unit, that is called groundwater management and sustainability. So before going to be into this topic, I want to define what is the groundwater and what is the management, what is sustainability. So likewise, I will define it. Later I am going to be entered into this topic. So if you see here, there is a title groundwater. So here, what is meant by groundwater? Groundwater is nothing but the water which is available below the earth surface. So if it is available above the earth surface, we can call it as a surface water, but which is available below the earth surface, we can call it as a groundwater. And coming to that management, so here very important management point of view, because we are not going to be utilizing this groundwater properly, so definitely it will cause some scarcities. That's why we need to have some proper management. So coming to that sustainability, so everyone knows that sustainability is nothing but without compromising your present needs, and you need to fulfill all your needs, and then we need to transfer the same resources, especially the natural resources, into the future generations. It will create a sustainable development. That's why what is happened. So here the total topic regarding, so here the groundwater is one of the natural resources. So we need to utilizing the groundwater properly without any compromising all those things, and then we need to managing properly, then only we are providing the sustainable development. That is the concept of here. And then if you see the next slide, so there is an introduction to the groundwater management. So here, if you, what is that introduction there here? So actually this groundwater is going to be utilized for irrigation system, and as well as the drinking system also. Nowadays they're not going to be utilizing, but previously, so everybody they are going to be depending upon the groundwater as a drinking water. But nowadays what is happened, mineral water they are going to be taken into the considerations. So likewise what is happening, so many resources will have nowadays, but before they don't have any such many kind of resources for drinking water. So at that moment what is happening, the groundwater can be utilizing as in a groundwater, and also the same groundwater is also going to be utilizing for the industries. So actually when we are going to be preferred to this groundwater, whenever the surface water is not available at that located areas, so at that moment we are going to be depending upon the groundwater. And then if you done the mismanagement of this, maybe definitely it will leads to create a scarcity, water scarcity especially. So in the summer, especially in the summer, we are going to be facing. I will give one the best example, which is very near to our area. So there is a Kodada. So in the Kodada, Nayanagar, there will be a lot of water scarcity at especially summer season. What is the problem? Because they are not going to be managing the groundwater properly. They are constructing the CC roads, they are constructing the buildings, they are not going to be introduce any rainwater harvesting system, and there is a pits they are not going to be introduced. So at that moment what is happened, what are the rainfall is going to be occurs at areas, and total it's not going to be entered into the ground. So the sources, there is no sources for it. That's why what is happened, there will be a problem for the groundwater development. So that's why they are going to be facing the problem at the summer season, water scarcity. So they are buying the groundwater, that one tank of groundwater nearly 2000 they are going to be spend it. So likewise these many problems you have if you are not going to be managing. But if you manage him properly or very well here, so we didn't have this kind of problems, all those things. And then coming to that here also, so maybe the future is going to be affected. That means sustainable development is not going to be takes place. Maybe we are going to be facing a problem. For example, So now we are taking the groundwater freely. If you're not going to be utilize it properly, or you're not going to be managing properly, and that at that moment what is happen, maybe in future generation they are going to be buy the water maybe for 1,000 rupees or maybe 500 rupees. That's why what is happened, there is a problem here. So we need to make it this problem. That's why we are going to be learning this problem in this our subjects. Then coming to that and the next one. So if you see here, there is a principles of groundwater management. So in this principles of groundwater management, so we need to utilize the surface water and as well as the groundwater, and also next one we need to go for, there is a mapping system we are going to be done. So the mapping can be done based on the places or greenery or whatever it may be. Now we are going to be mapped that where the water bodies are existed, and then where the recharge zones are existed. So likewise we need to go for a mapping, and then we need to analyzing that what is an amount of the water which is having, so for us. So likewise we are going for an estimation for by using this also all those kind. And the next one is we are also going to be calculate that what is the demand of the groundwater at that particular located area. So likewise if you know that what is a usage, demand, and as well as what is the resources we have, based on this we need to go for any management, or otherwise it may taking imbalance. That's why what is happen here, so there will be a involvement, so the communicative involvement is there. So or otherwise for what we are going for involvement here, so for only for water management or water distribution, water supply, water recharging. So likewise we are going to be managing all those things. And then if you are seeing here the next one, groundwater depletion. So groundwater depletion is nothing but, so here the water is going to be slowly depleted. So that means if it is not have any recharges, actually that recharge for groundwater is a rainwater only most probably. So if there is no rains is going to be takes place, then if you are going to be withdrawn the water continuously from the ground, then automatically what is happening, the groundwater is going to be depleted slowly. So when if you see here, there is an over extraction. So we need only 1,000 liters of water, but we are extracting the 2,000 liters of water. At that moment what is happened, that definitely groundwater depletion is going to be takes place. And also then that water table also going to be lower down, and then there is a salination, salt water is going to be there in that. Likewise what is happened, there is a lot of problems we have. And then if you see here next one, the consequent use of depletions. So if you want to increasing the pumping cost and then energy use, then also one more thing, there is a land substance and reduce the soil productivity. So that what are the problem here, automatically what is happen, the soil productivity is also going to be reduced, as water quality is going to be degraded, and also we don't have any food sufficient amount of the food to cultivate it, because there is no water here. So likewise we have any problems, all those things here. And the next one, if you see here, the next one, there is a sustainable groundwater practices. That means you want to make them, this still now we are discussing about the problem, and now we are discussing about the how to manage this problem. So if you see here, there is a rainwater harvesting, that what are the water is going to be getting from the rainfall, and then we are making then harvesting, and we need to provide any pits for it, and then directly we need to make them a facility to enter the rainwater into the ground. Then automatically what is happen, we had a lot of recharge is going to be takes place, and finally we had a lot of groundwater is going to be available. And then next one is an artificial recharge fit is also going to be takes place. And the next one, so if you next, instead of crop selection, that actually I will give them one example regarding. So you know there is a paddy, and then paddy is required more amount of the water when compared to the remaining vegetables, or maybe another type of thing like michi. So for michi, all those things it need only little bit amount of water when compared to the paddy crop. So instead of going for paddy, we need to go for an michi or alternative kind of crops to have good output within a less amount of the water, then it is okay, because it can be reducing the water requirement, then automatically we are going to be save it, the groundwater. And the next one is we need to monitoring. That means what is an amount of the water we have, that kind of monitoring, what is the amount of water we are getting. Likewise, if we are monitoring it is also, it can be giving a good result. And then later after monitoring, what is happen, we need to go for a budgeting. So I will give one example regarding that, but it's not any groundwater, but this budgeting regarding the example. That if you see here, the Nagarjuna Sagar water is going to be divided into for Andhra and as well as the Telangana. So if you see that the Krishna board is going to be budgeting that water into with a different proportion based on their requirement. So likewise, what is happened, what are the groundwater we have, we know that by monitoring system. Later we are going for a budgeting. And the next one is a resource of treated groundwater for irrigation. So the reuse of treated of groundwater. Then what are the water we are going to be utilizing, the same water we are going to be utilizing for the another purpose, then also we are going to be reducing the water demand. Then automatically groundwater is going to be safe. And the next one, if you see here, there is a legal and regulatory aspects. So here why legal and regulatory aspect is needed, actually we are keeping all those things, rules and regulation, or we are keeping that certain things to implement it, but the certain people they won't follow it, because some farmers are taking the water unofficially from the rivers. Likewise, what is happen, we had any problem, that's why what is happen, the losses is going to be takes place. That's why we are going to be providing a legal and regulatory aspects. Then automatically those who are crossing the borders, and then finally we had a legal action, so that there are everybody there in the control. So likewise, we are going to be give the some legal and regulatory aspects here. And then next one, if you see that there will be a technologies and innovations. So in the technologies and innovations, what is the use of it? This is also a techniques which can be, that means monitoring the groundwater system. That means there is a GIS. What is GIS? GIS is nothing but there is a geological information system. So the geological information system is providing the information for us where the minerals are there or where the waters are existed. Likewise, we have some information. And coming to that remote sensing also, likewise it is also technique. This is also by using the satellites only we are going to be taking the data. And then finally we are going to be mapping that aquifer conditions. So what is meant by aquifer? Maybe you got a doubt here. So aquifer is nothing but the certain amount of the water is going to be there within the soil, that we can call it as an aquifer. And coming to that next one, we are going to be introduce the smart meters instead of manual way, because if you introduce the smart meters, they may know that what is the quantity of water they are going to be utilizing. There is no provision to use the excessive water. So if you introduce these smart meters. And the next one is there will be any groundwater dashboards we are going to be introducing. And then at the same time, there is an AA protection depletion zones. That means artificial intelligence is going to be protected, means it's somewhat good. Likewise, we are introducing all techniques to monitoring, to guiding us, all those things regarding the groundwater that management, right, point of view, and even the mobile apps also. And coming to that next one, there will be conclusion and future outlook. I come to conclusion now. So here what is happened here? So if you utilizing all those things, what I am going to be discussed before, definitely we will use a sustainable groundwater management. We are going to be escaping for a lot of problems like droughts and all those things. And then it is also giving some ecological balance providing. Then automatically what is happened? So we are very happy. We are providing the sustainable development. We don't have any problem likewise. So likewise, we are managing the groundwater very effectively. It will give very good impact in future on our future generations also. Likewise, here we are learning all those things, and then even your real life also, we need to focusing on this, what are the parameters we are going to be discussing. We need to introduce on it, and then we need to follow it. It's somewhat good and for our future generation. And thank you one and all. And if any doubts regarding, I will clarify in the classroom itself. Thank you.